Hi, I'm Christopher Dunn again. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Oval Impressions Wall Sconce. This is the 2073-70. It has been in the line for a long time because it has very beautiful classic design going on that transcends time. This looks just as fresh and new today as it did when it first came out quite a while ago. And you can use this in all kinds of different applications. I have customers who use this in hallways, they use them in living rooms and dining rooms. This is also a very good piece to use in a bathroom, and I'll go over, if you're going to be doing that, the bulb that I would recommend for that. So let's dive into the size of the fixture itself, and the overall height on it is coming in at 5 3/4. The width on it, left to right, is 16 1/4, and then projection coming out from the wall is going to be 8.34. So the piece itself is pretty light. It's only 5.4 pounds. The backplate on this is going to be 5 inches by 5 inches. It's going to go over your standard junction box. This is what you guys have on your wall. I want to show you a little bit more information about that, and how we're going to do it is to look at the installations instructions now. So if you're on the page for this on Handmade in Vermont, look over on that side of the screen, midway down. You're going to see a link. It's going to say click here for installations instructions PDF. So open that up for me. It's going to show you lots of good line drawings, how to put the glass on. It's going to show you the mounting height from the middle of your junction box, which is this, to the middle of the fixture is coming in at 2.8 pounds. The glass on this is 16.25 inches by 2.5 inches tall. So let's touch on the glass really quick. I'm going to get more into detail about opal glass from Hubbardton Forge and how it's made. This piece is a piece of slump glass, and that's like a piece of art glass that designers and artists would make for galleries. It's that beautiful. It's made by Wallingford Glass Industries in Wallingford, Connecticut, so it's nice to have someone local to us to work with. And how slump glass is made is they are going to take a very thick piece of glass that's flat, they're going to put it over a form that's an oval, and then they're going to put it in a kiln, and a kiln is a super hot oven. It's going to go in there, it's going to melt and fall into that form and be stretched, and then cut with a diamond saw afterwards. And then when that's all done, they're going to come back and they're going to sandblast the entire thing on both sides. There's slight imperfections in the glass, and I wouldn't call them imperfections. I would call them really telltale signs of something that's being made by hand. And it'd be the same thing if you were buying a piece of wood furniture. You want to be able to see that this thing has been made by someone, a craftsman right here in the United States. So always keep that in mind. Their glass is really pretty, and glad that we can use someone very local to us. Matter of fact, our showroom's in Wallingford, Vermont, which was founded by the people from Wallingford, Connecticut. So that's how local we really are. Why don't we get into what you can use inside of this as far as lamping goes. It's going to be using one of these. This is a G9 socket. It's going to be coming out this way towards you, and there's all kinds of bulbs you can use in that. Historically, when these things first came out, there weren't a lot of LEDs on the market, so the recommended bulb was a halogen, and it has a little prongs on the bottom. They just fit right in. They snap in. Very simple like that. 60 watt max. If you want to stay with the halogen, you can still do that, and you can still find these out in the marketplace. However, I think there's some great LEDs out there too. So this is a phosphorus LED. It has kind of this orange pad on the inside. What I like to use in my showroom is called a cob LED, and it looks like a corn cob, just like this guy. So depending on what your application is going to be, is going to determine on how much light you need to come out of this. If I'm putting this in a dining room, maybe flanking a photograph or a painting and have one on each side, or maybe flanking a fireplace in the living room, I probably would go with a 60 watt equivalent, because I'm never going to have it up that high to begin with. However, if I want to use this in a bathroom over a mirror, I'm probably going to go with this, and this is a 100 watt equivalent. So just think of all the light you can get out of a 100 watt bulb. 100 watt equivalent LED, which I found on Amazon. It ticked all the boxes, so I use it all over my showroom. It looks great. People think it's an incandescent bulb because it's so warm. It's a 3000 Kelvin. And that's what I would probably use. Your only limitation is always going to be, can I get the bulb into the fixture? I've already tried this, so it does fit without a problem, and there you go. So another thing is, if I'm going to be using this in a bathroom and I want to get the max light out of this fixture, which means delivered lumens, I'm going to do something that I wouldn't do necessarily if I used it in a different room. So when you go back to the installations instructions, you're going to see that one of the things that you're going to look at is going to be installing what's called a, it's a perforated grill at the top, and it's used kind of as a diffuser. And what that does is, if you're looking down from a second story, like on a stairway or a sky bridge or something like that, you wouldn't see the socket set up because you're looking down on it. However, if I'm using this in a bathroom, no one's looking down on this. It's way up above the mirror. And I want to get the max light out of this fixture, so I would not install that grill, that diffuser, if I was going to be using this in a bathroom over a mirror. Because what I want is that I want that 100-watt equivalent light, all those lumens to go up, hit that ceiling, that nice white ceiling, and bounce around the room. And that's going to be a lot of great diffused light that gets on you when you're looking in that mirror. Very important, when you're deciding which bulbs to use the right one for whichever application you're going to be using this for. The marketplace out there for these bulbs is pretty simple. I get them at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart.com, Ace Hardware, True Value Hardware. I also picked these up on Amazon, and that's probably the easiest place to get them. They're going to offer these bulbs to you in all kinds of different ways. They're going to offer them to you in 2700 Kelvin. That's a super yellow light, and that would really be good in a dining room situation or maybe flanking the fireplace because it's kind of a romantic light. They're also going to offer these bulbs to you in something called daylight. Be careful with that one, because that one is going to be that bluish white light like an overcast day or a convenience store. That's going to be 4,000, 5,000 Kelvin on that Kelvin scale. What we like to use in our showroom is warm white, soft white, and that's 3,000 Kelvin. The light coming down on this desk, that's 3,000 Kelvin warm white, soft white, coming from these LEDs above. So that's what we would use here, and that's what I generally pick up for our showroom, so just remember that too. In any event, you'd probably want to go, if it's going to be in those other rooms I talked about, like a hallway or a dining room or a living room, I would get a dimmable version of the bulb. If I'm going for a bathroom, nobody dims bulbs in bathrooms, so I would probably just go for the straight 100-watt equivalent 3,000 Kelvin LED if I were you. I want to touch base on Hubbardton Forge's opal glass for just a second. So all of Hubbardton Forge's glass to begin with is going to be hand blown. This piece is hand blown first in clear, then they're going to come in and they're going to blow another layer of white glass on the inside of this. The third step is they're going to take and they're going to sandblast the whole thing on the inside and the outside. That's going to give you this beautiful, mellow, translucent, milky piece of glass. When you look at this and you can see the layers are actually piled up on the inside of this. Hubbardton Forge is very obsessed about details on all of their pieces, including their glass, and that's why you're here, because you're probably just as obsessed about little details as well. Let's get into metal finishes now. If you are on the HandmadeInVermont.com website, look over in the red tabs with the pictures in them over there. You're going to see a Finishes Help Guide tab. Open that up for me. It's going to be a video there of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton Forge finishes, how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be referencing a chart just down below, so scroll down a little bit. You're going to see a chart. You can click on that chart, so you can click on dark smoke, you can click on soft gold, doesn't matter. Big page will pop up showing you lots of different things in that finish. You can go back to the chart and you'll notice there's letters A's on them, letter B's on some of those things, and that's going to be showing you this range of variants that you can expect to see on different translucent finishes, but I'll talk about all of that in the video, okay? Okay, showroom. Our showroom in Vermont has over 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures. This is the biggest showroom in the world of Hubbardton Forge. No other showroom is like this. Hubbardton Forge doesn't even have their own showroom. They use this one. What's on display? We have a great tab on that. And those same red tabs, you're going to see a What's on Display page. So open that up. It's going to show you everything we have on display, and including which finish, which shade, all of those things, and what kind of glass it's on there. We're open every day except Sunday, 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have an amazing clearance center. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued stuff, showroom samples. You have to come here to use it. Can't call us or email us about it, but it's definitely worth coming in to look at if you're in Vermont. Plus, you want to use the showroom anyway because there's just so much great stuff here to see. Our number in Vermont, 802-446-2400. You can email us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Love to answer emails, and it's sales@HandmadeInVermont.com. So when you order from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is going to be free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. No tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont. And we're the only dealer with 90-day returns, no restocking fee. Nobody else does that. Some larger items are going to be non-returnable. It's going to be really important that you are looking at the fixture on that page and kind of scroll down under the description. It'll tell you if that is the case. And that's usually for really big, giant, huge fixtures, mostly that go out on pallets. Okay, that's it. Rush program. Let's talk about that. So rush program, Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to go out the door. That's production time before your transit time. You always have to add that on too. We offer a rush program that takes you from that 3 to 4 weeks down to a little under 2 weeks, it's a very small addition per line item. So if you have like 1, 2, 3 items, like let's say 3 or 4 outdoor sconces, and they're all the same size and they're all the same finish, that's one line item. So it's very inexpensive to rush those kind of things. Don't be afraid to email us and ask about that. Okay, so that's really it. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. We would love to see you in our showroom sometime. And thanks for stopping in.